Hi, my name's Dwayne Squires.
And my name's Richard Muse.
In this video, we're going to share the costs of investing in property in the North East. Now, just to first begin with, when it comes to investing in the North East, the costs that are involved can be split into two groups. One is the upfront acquisition costs, i.e. the one-off cost that you're going to have to pay up front, whilst the next cost is the actual ongoing cost associated with running that property. So let's go into a bit more detail under those two groups. So acquisition costs.
First one is surveyors. You will need to get a survey done if you're buying by mortgage. If you're buying with cash, that is optional. But look to spend £300 to £400 on a survey. That's generally what it is, depending on the level you get. If you go up to a full home buying report, that can go up considerably. The second one is your legal costs. Again, it can vary if you're buying with a mortgage or with cash, but you can generally set aside that your basic legal costs are going to be about £500. You've got to add your searches on and disbursements for that, probably about another £250. So your legal costs are going to come on about £750.
And then a third cost to consider is actually the mortgage cost. So there is an upfront cost, typically with every mortgage, which is an arrangement fee. So it's the administrative costs associated with the lender for actually putting all the paperwork and doing all their due diligence around arranging your mortgage. So that's typically between 0.5% to 1%, depending on the lender you work with. And similarly, a third cost to consider is the mortgage broker cost. Now, there's two schools of thoughts. One is where you can actually try and go with raising your mortgage through your own bank. So if you bank with Santander or Barclays or any other high street bank, to go with them. However, you might be missing out on so many array of different products for mortgages specific to your investment and your situation. And that's where a mortgage broker comes into it. Now, a mortgage broker is unaffiliated typically and has access to all the market of mortgage products. Now, that can mean that they'll save you time as well as cost on arranging that mortgage, because it'll be more specific to your situation. Now, typically there is a cost associated with a mortgage broker, and that varies, but that might range between anywhere as low as £250 or for £500.
The final one is the sourcing fee. Don't forget the sourcing fee. This is important. Obviously, if you're buying through a sourcer, you should have a property that is below market value with some nice equity in there. So you must make an allowance for that. It's a worthwhile cost to get you the right property, no doubt.
Yeah, now under the same sourcing fee, just to add, Richard, you can obviously consider maybe there's an estate agent fee, if the estate agent's charging the buyer versus the seller, or even auction fees. Like Rich has got a really good video around the costs of investing through auctions. And there's also up in the North East, there's buyer's premium that can range between anywhere from £5,000 to £6,000, huge cost. Now, that's the acquisition costs. Now, let's go on to the actual running costs associated with investing in property in the North East. So the first associated cost would be letting agent fees and property managers. So this could be a property finder's fee, which typically ranges from a half to a whole month's worth of rent, as well as ongoing management costs, which can be as low as 7% for standing buy to let, up to 12% for HMO. Now, if you want to know more about letting agent fees, we've got a video on that, and you can watch that video by clicking the link or the button above.
The next one is maintenance costs. So you're going to have some ongoing maintenance costs. You must, we advise to set so much of your monthly rental aside to cover these. You have to get a gas certificate every year, a CP12 as we call it. It's best to have electrical certificate in place. And like I said, you will have some ongoing small repairs, general maintenance to do throughout the year.
Brilliant. And this comes to the last one for ongoing. It's insurance. You should always be insuring your property. Now, for a tenant, that would be insuring their own personal possessions, which you don't have to cover. But the insurance is building insurance, so structural insurance, if something happens to the building, or even a fire. So there's been a recent case where one of our investors that we had a property and it actually caught on fire. But luckily, he had the insurance in place, so the insurance company paid out for those costs. So just to wrap up, so there's a number of costs that you need to consider, which can range from very minimal, so like an insurance cost is £30, to a higher cost, like legal is like £1,000. But there's around 8 costs to consider: surveyors, legal, mortgage broker, sourcing or agent costs, letting agent, ongoing costs, maintenance, as well as insurance. All of these things you should consider when putting together your ongoing and monthly investment budget. Thank you very much for watching our video. If you found it useful, please can you click the like button, as well as follow our YouTube channel by subscribing to it. That will then mean that when we release new videos in the future, you'll be notified of those.
Once you've liked and subscribed, why not watch other of our videos by clicking the thumbnail on the right-hand side? This will take you to more helpful videos for you to watch.